Okay, hi there, my name's Nadine, I'm from Spiritfire Designs, and today I'm going to show you how to make a cute little button brooch that looks something like this. So what you're going to need to start off with is backing for your brooch, obviously, some seed beads, and some buttons, different shapes and sizes, and a piece of felt like this, and some needle and thread, and some scissors and some craft glue as well. So basically, to start off with, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get 3 big buttons and then 3 little buttons and just sort of position them on the felt the way that I want them to go. And I've got my craft glue, and what I'm going to do is just lightly glue all of the buttons down. You don't need to use too much glue for this, because later on you're going to use some thread to actually sew the buttons on. So the glue just really gives it that extra bit of stability, basically. So glued my buttons onto the felt and it looks like that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my needle and thread and just sew the buttons onto the felt. Now I'll just show you a bit of a close-up there of what it looks like. So it's coming along nicely. So now that I've sewed all my buttons on, the next part is to get my seed beads, and I've chosen some really cute small little brown bugle beads. And what I kind of like to do is just sort of sprinkle them all throughout the buttons, just to kind of get a bit of an idea of what it's going to look like. So I like to kind of concentrate the beads in the middle of the brooch and then have them sort of splayed out. Okay, and basically the idea is to just fill up the little gaps in between your buttons with some beads, and also around the outside of the buttons as well. What I'm doing now is I'm just finishing off my thread. So I've just sort of secured it at the back, chopping off the extra thread. Now we can flip it over, and what I'll do is I'll get my big scissors and I'll just cut a shape around what I've made. So it's totally up to you how much extra felt you want around your buttons, or how big you want the brooch to be, really. I like to leave a bit of a border of felt, because I think that it just finishes it off really nicely. And I'm not going for any particular shape, I just want it to be pretty organic. So what I'm going to do now is just quickly cut out another piece, which is going to be the backing part of my brooch. So I'm just cutting around that shape like that, and you probably want it to be just a tiny bit smaller, so I'm shaving off maybe 1 millimeter, half a millimeter, just like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my brooch pin and my glue, but what will happen then is that this piece of felt here will be glued onto the back. So I'm just going to demonstrate how to do that quickly. I usually like to put glue on both surfaces, just because I find that it creates a stronger bond, especially with felt. It just soaks up the glue. Okay, so what this extra piece of felt does is it just covers up the stitching. So we glue that on there like that, and then what I'm going to do is I've got some butterfly clips here, and I'm going to put one on each corner, and that's going to help with the drying process for the glue. Okay, so what I would do now is just leave that for a couple of hours or even overnight to dry, and when that's finished drying, you'll have beautiful little brooch that looks something like this.